anything. It's just the way it is. But there is this inherent
We
tragedy.
impose attributes onto external objects, which
Tragedy
are
in
more properly thought of as
Aristotelian sense,
internal
not
brain
just
states.
a list
These
of
are the
rules.
external.
The
If
protagonist
eating an
dies
apple
or
and it's
whatever.
a
All the
sweet apple,
protagonists
the
die. That's fine. We're
sweetness
all
is the response
protagonists of our own
to
lives, and we all
internal
die, and
when
that's
your
fine.
tongue is
But you know what?
exposed to those specific apple
It's the
molecules.
concept
In
behind
other
it.
words,
It's
it's
the
not
spirit
the
of
apple
the-
that's sweet, and
the
yet we
spirit of the
talk
law,
about the
so to
apple as
speak.
though it
And the
were.
issue
We say
really
it's a sweet apple.
is a
not
subversion
that
of
it's
what's
an apple
good and
which
proper.
produces sweetness. But if we extend that,
And it's a
I mean,
great loss. It's
anything
contrary
like,
to its
any
nature. When a
sense
single
perception,
moment, a
even
slice
art,
of
music,
the life of a living
is
brain
about,
to be
I
rendered
knew a lawyer once.
unchanging,
He was one of the top 5
and therefore
pianists I've ever
preserving
known.
what's precious.
Somewhere I got a cassette of him.
You destroy it,
improvising.
really.
It's just the most amazing.
And that's true of all humans.
So one time he said to me,
"This isn't just
music
a problem
is about
for
art.
art. Our great
What
strength
he
is
meant was
that we are able to
contrast. He meant
subvert our true
you have a
nature.
section of music
We can
that's
make
quiet
that
and
choice
sad,
like
and
a
suddenly
like a
you
wolf
happy
chewing
and
off
loud.
its leg in it to
It colors
escape
the
a trap.
perception.
You can make that choice. You
It
can
heightens the
make
happy and
choices
loud,
about
you know?
sacrifice
And to him, that was the
and so
core
on.
music.
But
He
there's
was
also a
manipulating
choice
that
to kill a
contrast.
part of yourself, really.
I think he oversold it, but it's an important aspect of all
You can
art. I mean, it's not
transcend
just
if you want
contrast,
to.
but
You can,
outright
you
deception.
can look at the situation you're
You show
in,
something
you can
in a
determine the
different light.
veracity
You
of that,
exaggerate
you
it
can
in
set
this
aside your own
to highlight
gut
the truth you
reaction,
want to present.
that idea, that feeling, that
Beautiful line
instinct,
to get us
whatever,
closer to the
whatever
truth.
feels natural to you.
I think Dante
You can look beyond that and subvert it if you choose, that the reality of the
So then-
situation calls for that.
the obvious thing,
And that'll
the
be
thing,
better.
I mean, the
closer to your goals.
the question
To
which
see
you
your
sort of have to
perception,
ask
make another
yourself
choice. To
is
kill
why
that
do
part
we
of
even
yourself,
care if
really.
the apple is
And
sweet?
you can't make that choice if
Put
you
it
don't
one
have
way, if that
information
doesn't
outside of
extend the analogy a
your
bit
own
too much.
internal machinations
I mean,
or whatever. If that's all you have,
The
then that
sweetness is
option to
internal.
subvert your internal state
Cause
isn't
of the
available
sweetness
to
is
you.
external.
You can't
So
even
if the
consider it.
sensation is manifest internally,
At the same time, you got to operate
doesn't that make
with limited
the
knowledge.
externally
You
relevant?
can't really,
I mean,
not in any
I know it sounds like I'm
absolute sense.
advocating
You can't
some
know
sort
exactly
of
what your situation
retreat
is.
from the objective or some
You
sort
can
of
do what you
solipsism
can do,
or something.
but you can check
In
yourself.
terms of
you
daily
compare
experience,
perceptions,
isn't
and
the
then
internal
judge
state
your reactions
that
to the
which we
result.
value?
So
I
there's
mean,
this interplay.
you can
between
argue that we
the
should or
internal
we
and
shouldn't,
the
but
external, but that doesn't
that's
happen
all we have
without some
access
sort
to.
of
Is
insistence
clearly
on the internal.
that is what we value, simply as a statement of
The concept that there is a knowledge we can look
God.
forward to allows us to exist within that external. So it's critical, really. And in a certain sense, it's pointless because it's unknowable, but in another sense, it's critical.
You can do what's
Totally
right
imperative that we work
within your own
within
understanding
this
and yet be totally off track.
And it is
But if we're
perfect
working
in a
within an
very real
artificial
sense.
construct,
Can't be
if
allowed
the
to
external is
happen
disjointed
without
from you,
some acknowledgement.
then mistakenly doing wrong by someone is indistinguishable from doing what's right. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not making that argument. I'm just working it through.
I mean, I don't want it to
Once
seem
we're
like I'm
inside
laying
this,
it out, so I'm not making an argument.
when the external is divorced from the internal, behaving well isn't just impossible to evaluate. Perhaps it's a meaningless distinction.
Regardless of what's
And
happening
of course,
inside yourself,
choices don't exist in a vacuum. They work in response to the external or the perception of the
which
external.
even if you
There's a
don't
sea of
personally
interplay
value,
between the two, between
is our value.
choices and those aspects that inform and shape
It
your
requires
choices.
some knowledge.
And so we're continually reacting and then altering that which we react to. And the question, or at least the obvious point, is that response process is primarily an unthinking
know, or you can think
in some primary
listen to
sense,
code.
living is being conscious, and in a primary sense, being conscious is that response, the reaction to the present.
naturally you can never know for sure.
When this is encountered, this is my response. And when that process happens, so now,
Defining the
you are who you
perception.
are. You are existing in that limited sense, which,
comes off as this
of course, runs contrary to humans' great capacity
Like
for
you just-
projection.
But what we find, I'd say, is that commonality, which we can all hold on to. That commonality leads to a set of base
I recorded this morning.
which can be
I was just,
either universal observation.
it was an exercise, really. It's not a song exactly. I just came up with it.
So useful
You
to
know,
say
just
that no one wants
work
to
on
do
certain finger movements.
You have to define
It was more about moving my fingers in a way that felt natural.
So you can
Really.
reduce that concept to simply.
I didn't really think about how it would sound, so it doesn't conform to,
It's a tautology.
you know, the way a song should be. It's not structured properly, but it's nice. It's good.
From there, you recognize your responsibilities to others. I mean, you either do, or you're unwilling or unable to engage in rational discourse. It's just that simple. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. It was just the way I felt, you know. I never really exterior
I've
contains
never really met
interiors.
another person I could
This
play with
interaction
very well.
is back and forth
Just go at it. It's always a bit
not only with the
strange.
exterior, but with other interiors, so to speak.
I can play off myself all right, but
A certain
not
amount
as
of
level of
intentionality.
artificiality. I can only respond and react to what I've done in the past.
In order
But the
to
early work I've done can't change. That's, that's
engage.
locked into the tape. So there's not that back
There is
and
the
forth
question of
that makes
authenticity,
music authentic.
of reacting in a genuine manner to what you are
You know how they
presenting.
say this is not a pipe?
And of connecting
Well,
personally
this
with
is not
another
music.
person.
This is a recording of
But-
music. And in one way,
Successfully-
absurd distinction.
Successfully
But in another way,
meeting
it's
your
critical.
responsibilities to others, not just
Primary
stuff you gotta
definition,
do,
but really.
but to be
That's
a
not
person
too strong
in a community. You know,
And so
whether
then
it's your own
playing with
town or
recording of
your
yourself,
household. You
it
have
makes
to
the
take that
process
base
difficult
reaction and
because
shape it
the
to
earlier
react
half
to your
is dead,
choices with
really.
intentionality.
It's
In
not
other
a
words,
living
to recognize the
and
interest, to embrace and to seek clearly
which it was when I
what is
started.
around you.
You see what I
And
mean?
your focus on your position within it, and your
And by recording
future
it and
and
playing
empathy
it
for
back,
others, and then to push forward with those
and playing
choices
on
in
top
mind,
of
to let that interplay
it gives rise to something new, but
guide your choices.
at the same time,
More than reaction,
kill something that used to be
more than
violent.
introspection,
because it's
more than
static, with
observation,
no possibility of response.
genuine
and
response,
And the inescapable fact is that it isn't
and
just a
find
recording of me
within
on
that
guitar.
feedback
It's my thought process
of
of
the
the time.
internal-external interplay, right?
This morning,
You see
and
what I mean, right? So
now that piece of me has died, and it keeps
that's what I
happening.
was thinking about.
There's this continual death. There just is. And it's okay. It's not anything. It's just the way it is. But there is this inherent
We
tragedy.
impose attributes onto external objects, which
Tragedy in
are
an
more properly thought of
Aristotelian
as
sense,
internal
not
brain
just
states.
a list of
Of the
rules.
external.
The protagonist
Eating an
dies
apple
or
is a
whatever. All
sweet
the
apple.
protagonists
The
die. That's fine. We're
sweetness
all
is the response
protagonists of
that
our own
you
lives. We all
internally
die, and
when
that's
your
fine.
tongue is
But
exposed
you know
to
what?
those specific apple
It's the
molecules.
concept
In other
behind
words,
it.
it's
the
not
spirit
the
of
apple that's sweet, and yet we
spirit of
talk
the
about
law,
the
so
apple
to
as
speak.
though it
And the
were.
issue
We say
really
it's a sweet apple.
is a
It's not
subversion
that
of
it's
what's
apple
good and
which
proper.
induces sweetness. But if we extend that,
And it's
I
a
mean,
great loss. It's
anything
contrary
like,
to its
any
nature.
sense
In a single
perception,
moment,
even
a
art,
slice of
music,
the life of a living
is about,
brain to be
I
rendered
knew a lawyer once.
unchanging,
He was one of the top 5
and therefore
pianists I ever
preserving
knew.
what's precious.
Somewhere I got a cassette of him.
You destroy it, really.
Just the most amazing.
And that's true of all humans.
So one
throughout
time
our
he said
lives.
to me,
This isn't just a
music is
problem
about
for art.
art.
Our great
What he
strength
meant
is
was
that we're
contrast.
able to
He meant
subvert our true
you have a
nature.
section of music.
We can
that's
make
quiet
that
and sad,
choice
and
like
then
a
suddenly you
like a
jump to
wolf
happy
chewing
and
off
loud.
its leg in it
It
to
colors
escape
the
the trap.
perception.
You can make that choice.
It
You can
heightens the
make
happy and
choices
loud,
about
you know?
sacrifice
And to him, that was the
and
core
so on.
reason
But
he
there's also a
manipulated
choice
that
to kill a
contrast.
part of yourself, really.
I think he oversold it, but it's an important aspect of all
You
art.
can
It's not
transcend
just
if you want
contrast,
to.
but
You can,
outright
you
deception.
can look at the situation
You
and
show
you
something
can
in a
determine the
different light.
veracity,
You exaggerate it,
set
distort it.
aside your own
To highlight
gut
the truth you
reaction,
wanna present.
that idea, that feeling,
Beautiful
that
lie
instinct,
to get us
whatever,
closer to the
whatever
truth.
feels natural to you.
I think
You
Dante said
can
something.
you can look beyond that and subvert it if you choose. That the reality of
So
the
then-
situation calls for that,
The obvious thing,
and that it'll be better.
I mean, the
closer to your goals.
the question
to
which
see
you
your
sort of have to
perception
ask
and make another
yourself
choice. To
is
kill
why
that
do
part
we
of
even care
yourself,
if the
really.
apple is sweet?
And you can't make that choice if
Put
you
it
don't
one
have
way, if that
information
doesn't
outside
extend
yourself.
the analogy a
Your
bit
own
too much.
internal machinations or whatever. If that's all you have,
The
then
sweetness
that
is
option to
internal.
subvert your internal state
Cause
isn't
of the
available.
sweetness is external.
You can't
So
even
if the
consider it.
sensation is manifest internally,
At the same time, you got to operate
doesn't that make
with limited
the
knowledge.
externally
You
relevant?
can't really,
I mean,
not in any.
I know it sounds like I'm
absolute sense.
advocating
You can't
some
know
sort
exactly
of
what your situation
retreat
is.
from the objective or some
You
sort
can
of
do what you can
solipsism
do.
or
You
something.
can,
But
you can check
in
yourself.
terms of
you
daily
can compare
experience,
perceptions
isn't
and
the internal
judge
state
your reaction and see
that
the
which we
result.
value?
So
I
there's
mean,
this interplay.
we can
between
argue that we
the
should or
internal and
shouldn't,
the
but
external, but that doesn't
that's
happen
all we have
without some
access
sort
to.
of
So
insistence
clearly,
on the internal.
that is what we value, simply as a statement of
The concept that there is a knowledge we can look
God.
forward to allows us to exist within that external. So it's critical, really. And in a certain sense, it's pointless because it's unknowable. But in another sense, it's critical.
You can do what's
Totally
right
imperative that we work
within your own
within
understanding,
this
and yet totally off track.
And it
But
is
if we're working
in a
within
very
an
real
artificial
sense,
construct,
can't be
if
allowed
the
to
external is
happen
disjointed
without
from the
starting some
internal,
acknowledgement.
then mistakenly doing wrong by someone is indistinguishable from doing what's right. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not making that argument. We're just working it through.
I mean, I don't want it to
Once
seem
we're
like
inside
I'm
this,
so I'm not making an argument. I'm
When
making a
the
proposition.
external is divorced from the internal, behaving well isn't just impossible to evaluate.
perhaps it's a meaningless distinction.
Regardless of what's
And
happening
of course,
inside yourself,
choices don't exist in a vacuum. They work in response to the external, or the perception of the
which
external.
even if you
There's a
don't
sea of
personally
interplay
value,
between the two, between
is a value.
choices and those aspects that inform and shape
You
your
require
choices.
some knowledge.
And so we're continually reacting and then altering that which we react to. And the question, or at least the obvious point, is that that response process is primarily an unthinking
know, or you can think
in some primary sense, living is being conscious, and in a primary sense, being conscious is that response, the reaction to the present.
naturally you can never know for sure.
When this is encountered, this is my response. And when that process happens now,
Defining the
you are who you
perception
are. You are existing in that limited sense, which,
comes off as this
of course, runs contrary to humans' great capacity for projection.
But what we find, I'd say, is that commonality, which we can all hold on to. That commonality leads to a set of basic
I recorded this morning.
which can be
I was just,
either universal observation.
it was an exercise, really. It's not a song exactly. I just came up with it.
So useful
You know,
to say
just
that no one wants
work
to
on
do
your
it for
certain finger
because
movements.
you have to define
It was more about moving my fingers in a way that felt natural,
So you can
really.
reduce that concept to simply.
I didn't really think about how it would sound, so it doesn't conform to,
It's a tautology.
the way a song should be. It's not structured properly, but it's nice. It's good.
From there, you recognize your responsibilities to others. I mean, you either do, or you're unwilling or unable to engage in rational discourse. It's just that simple. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. It was just the way I felt.
other persons.
I never really never really met another person I could play with very well. Just go at it. It's always a bit strange. Not only the exterior, but with other interiors, so to speak.
I can play off myself, all right,
requires
but
a certain amount of
intentionality.
artificiality.
I can only respond and react to what I've done in the past.
In order
But the
to
early work I've done can't change. That's, that's
engage.
locked into the tape. So there's not that back
There
and
is the
forth
question
that
of
makes music
authenticity,
authentic, of reacting in a genuine manner to what you
You know
are
how they
presenting.
say this is not a pipe,
And of connecting
well,
personally
this
with
is not
another
music.
person.
This is a recording. of
But,
music.
and in one way,
That's an
successfully
absurd distinction.
successfully
another way,
meeting
it's
your
critical.
responsibilities to others, not just
Primary
stuff you get,
definition,
but
really.
to be
That's
a
not
person
strong
in a
statement.
community.
And so
whether
then
it's your own
playing with
town or
recording of
your
myself,
household.
that
You have
makes
to
the
take that
process
base
difficult
reaction and
because
shape it
the
to
earlier half
your
is dead.
case is really intentionality.
It's
In
not
other
a
words,
living
to recognize the
and
intrinsic, to embrace and to see clearly
which it was when I
what is
started.
around you.
You see what I mean?
And your focus on your position within it, and your
And by recording
future
it and playing
empathy
it
for
back,
others, and then to push forward with those
playing on
choices
top of
in mind, to let that interplay
It gives rise to something new, but
guide your
at the
choices.
same time,
More than reaction,
kill something that used to be
more than
vital.
introspection, more than
Static, with no
observation,
possibility of response.
genuine response.
And the
filtered
inescapable
through
fact is that it
intentionality
isn't
and
just
defined
recording of me on
within that
guitar.
feedback
It's my thought process
of
at
the
the time.
internal external interplay, right?
This morning,
You see what I mean? So
now that piece of me has died, and it keeps
that's
happening.
what I was thinking about.
There's this continual death. There just is, and it's okay. It's not.